Update. My 23 female ex, 24 male, tried to kill himself because I don't want to get back together with him after he cheated on me. Original post. Me and my ex were almost together for 2 years until I found out he cheated on me. Ironically, he cheated on me using Reddit. R subs. And to be honest, at first I didn't believe it, but then I got hit with the undeniable proof, and so I hardened my heart and broke up with him. It was a real messy breakup with him crying, kneeling, begging, saying he only did that because he was frustrated and that he truly loved me. Other times he blamed me for him cheating because I didn't give him enough attention. I ignored all this and blocked his number and all his social medias. He tried using his family phones to reach me, so I blocked them too. Although I am civil with them despite all this. Because he couldn't reach me through the cyberspace, he eventually went to my house. Thankfully, we had a locked gate and my dogs were also very alert to intruders. He couldn't get in, and so he slumped in front of our street and cried while demanding to see me. I already told my parents beforehand that I broke up with him, so my mom frantically called me that my ex was here crying. I immediately went back home and confronted him. He said a lot, saying that how he couldn't live without me and that he'd kill himself if I wouldn't get back together with him. Now this is where I agree what I did was wrong. I laughed at him and said he could try. Then despite his pleas, I went inside my house, leaving him outside. After that, it became quiet for 2 to 3 weeks, so I thought he finally was just leaving me alone. Then one day I got a call from an unknown number, and when I answered it, it was his mom crying and telling me that whatever my ex did, I should forgive him because her son is in the hospital right now after trying to kill himself because I don't want him back anymore. I was really surprised and also worried, and so I told the mom I'll talk about this to my parents first. My dad said he was pitiful and that although the indecision should still be mine, he hopes that I can support him for a while, even if it means lying to him. My mom, on the other hand, said he's crazy and to never see him again. My sister is impartial with all of this. I also asked my friends and they basically said don't ever meet with him because he's a manipulative ass. My relatives eventually knew of this because the gossip mill here runs fast and said I should forgive him and to let bygones be bygones because God wouldn't forgive me if I don't forgive. I live in a misogynistic and religious country, so their behavior explains it. I do care about him and don't want him to die, but I also don't want to get back together with him because I know my worth. What is the best way to do things? Now for some comments before reading the update. Don't give him false hope with this whole support. I would listen to your mom and friends. He's manipulative in what he's doing because he can't have it his way. This person says, first, him saying it's your fault he cheated is crap. He could have asked you for more attention or break up. Cheating is a liar's solution. Then to say he really loved you, well, then he shouldn't have cheated. Breaking up was exactly the right thing to do. And then what his mom did was awful. She shouldn't call you and try to force you to be with someone that cheated on you. Yuck. She should get her son into therapy and meds to help him with his depression and help him to learn accountability for his bad behavior. And your dad is dead wrong. Don't support your ex. Your ex has his family to support him. The moment he cheated, you owe him nothing. Do not engage. He's manipulating and you going to extreme measures. 100% he will use violence against you if you get back together. Tell his family you're sorry he is in a bad place and you hope they get him help, but you cannot talk to him or engage. This is an unsafe situation for you. You will be rewarding his suicide attempt if you go back under any pretext. He just will do it again next time you try to leave and might succeed or become violent towards you. Threatening suicide is pure blackmail and there is no way back from that IMO. He's just trying to control you. Don't let him. I know it's hard to believe, but if he continues stalking and manipulating you in this way, in a few years you'll honestly wish he'd succeeded. Personally, I wouldn't message him or go see him. If you do, you just tell him that if he does this kind of stuff when he F's up, it will get your attention and possibly bring you back. You don't want that. Even if part of you feels guilty, maybe look at it this way. Since he tried to kill himself, he is most likely in the hospital waiting for a psych hold, which would do more for him than you going back to him will. Now for the update. So I followed the advice here and went no contact. I sent a text to his mom saying how I'll go no contact, but I wish for his fast recovery. Basically, it did not go well, and it definitely got a lot worse before it got better. His mom sent me a lot of messages, and most were curses. Yes, it included a lot of derogatory words. I knew she was mentally troubled because of what happened to her son, so I ignored it and blocked her. When I woke up, I got a lot of messages and message requests, and it was because she posted what was supposed to be a private matter in social media for the whole world to see. She even posted pictures of him in the hospital, and she tagged me. It was overall a very hateful post. She screenshotted my text message to her about going no contact. I was turned into a villain overnight. Most of my message requests were my ex-relatives cursing me, and some of them were random strangers who also rebuked me. Even worse, some of my own relatives berated me and said that I should have taken their advice and got back together with him. Thankfully, the post didn't become viral or anything like that, but so many people I know and friends of his friends saw it. My mom told me to go on social media detox or just go on sites where I enjoy and she'll handle it. Well, she posted a response to my ex's mom's post, and it was about how she conveniently left out the part where her son cheated on me just to gain internet sympathy. My friends also backed it up and sent receipts and screenshots. My friends were one of the first people to know about the cheating. The hate died down a bit, and I also received some support, but the damage had been done. My ex's company saw the post, my mom's and ex-mom's, and they want to let him off because the whole issue is not good for their image since it reached a lot of people. I knew because ex's mom privately messaged my mom to delete her post because of it. She also said that she'll delete her own post too. My mom got mad saying she'll refuse to delete it because now they want to be civil, but I did tell her to just delete it so that the whole thing can be forgotten. So far the posts are still up. For context, I live in an Asian misogynistic religious country, so yes, I am still getting some hate messages, but personally, I believe I can handle it. As for my dad, him and my mom are not on speaking terms because my mom says he's not taking it seriously, and my dad says that this isn't much of a big issue. To be honest, the most absurd thing about all of this is how my ex is still asking for me. I got a bunch of unneeded updates from one of his circle of friends, who, by the way, knew of the cheating. All of his friends knew of the cheating and didn't think to tell me. I would like to thank all who gave me advice. I do not regret it one bit because who I believe to be good people, ex's mom and ex, all turned out to be manipulative and hateful people. No worries, I will definitely not get in contact with any of them in the present or the future. Story 2. Am I the a-hole for publicly calling out a friend for sending my fiancé inappropriate messages? Plus update. Original post. This is going to be a long one and a throwaway for obvious reasons. I know the title makes it seem absolutely obvious, but let me explain. My fiancé, Josh, has a close friend group of guys from college we see rather regularly, at least the ones that stayed in our city, including his best friend, Matt. His best friend's wife, Addison, has a friend, Lila, that was integrated into their group before I met my fiancé. So apparently Lila has a crush on my fiancé before I met him, and even tried to get Matt's now wife to set them up. Josh made it clear he wasn't interested. Unfortunately, it seems she never gave up hope that he would come around. Fast forward to Josh and I meeting, really hitting it off, so he wanted to introduce me to his friends. We met up with everyone for drinks one night, and apparently Lila wasn't given a heads up that Josh was in a relationship by Addison because the look on this girl's face when he introduced me was somewhere between pure disgust and shock. Everyone else was friendly and welcoming. She was icy, and Addison was a little quiet at first, but then warmed up. I guess it was she was probably trying to be loyal to her best friend that had a crush. Fast forward about a year, Matt and Addison are getting married, with Josh being the best man and of course Lila the maid of honor. I didn't feel any sort of way because I'm secure in my relationship. He's not interested in her and he just had to walk down the aisle with her. Matt and Addison even set it up so he could sit with me at the reception, much to Lila's displeasure. Well, at the reception, as she kept coming over and trying to flirt with Josh, saying to not forget that the best man is required to dance with the maid of honor, which is flatly just told her that's not a thing. Well, about 2 weeks ago, we got engaged. Yay! This is a group chat I was added into once I had established my own friendships and wasn't just Josh's girlfriend, where people organized pub nights, beach trips, etc. Josh announced her engagement a day later, and everyone other than, you guessed it, Lila congratulated us. Huge shock, right? Well, now to the issue. We are here for Friday night around 1 to 2 a.m.-ish. Apparently, Lila decided to message Josh privately. First thing was something like, I was just thinking about you. Followed up with a semi-nude photo, then, you're not married yet, and a bunch of other inappropriate stuff. He didn't see it until he woke up yesterday morning. We were just chilling in bed, checking emails, etc., and he just said, what the F? Then hands me the phone. Obviously, I was wicked pissed off as he was, so he just shot back a message telling her it was highly inappropriate and disrespectful and to not contact him again. She then attempts to backpedal with excuses she was drunk and then, oops, I sent it to the wrong person, don't tell OP. The last part pushed me over the edge and I asked him to screenshot it to me. I told him that I wouldn't include the photo. Revenge porn is never okay, but I was going to post it in the group chat because this is the last straw, as long as he was fine with me doing so. So I did, and I said that we were done with this disrespect and would no longer be engaging with someone who would do something like this. Not the most mature thing to do on my part, but I think everyone needed to know. And wow, did the chat light up. Lila pretty much immediately left the chat, but everyone else was so shocked that she would do that. Lila went crying to Addison because she said that I bullied her, who feels somewhat torn because she wishes that it was handled privately, but she was only escalated any attempts to shut her down. So Reddit, am I the a-hole for putting her on blast by posting her text to my fiance's group chat to hold her accountable? Everyone else is disgusted with her, but my fiance's best friend's wife feels it should have been handled privately. Now for the comments. So let me get this straight. She repeatedly used your fiance after repeatedly being told no respectfully, privately, and by Addison, completely disrespects you and tramples all of fiance's and your boundaries, then has the gall to expect you to give her respect by handling it privately. Respect is given, then earned. Blow that group chat up and show the group what their friend is really like. Not the a-hole for sure. Maybe buy her a dictionary with the word respect highlighted and tabbed because she clearly has no idea what the word means. OOP. She exited the group chat so quickly once I posted it. I did note that there was basically a nude photo that was sent but said that I have too much class to send it. I have zero respect for that shameless, not to my face, but apparently she had made comments when we were starting getting serious that she didn't think I was his type. One of her other friends said, we'll know what isn't his type for sure, and she got mad. I think her bad behavior was tolerated for too long. When you keep pushing, eventually you're going to push too far or push the wrong person. On Lila not being a true friend. Thanks, I am super excited. Oh, hell no. She would never get an invite. And I only used the word friend because I didn't know what else to say as I was kind of rage typing this. Haha. I don't know if this was her last ditch effort to get him. One of the other women, who is a long-term partner to one of Josh's closest friends, texted me privately with some choice names for her and said, yeah, girl, burn that shit down. Lila has tried to hook up with her boyfriend of 9 years when she was on a long-term work trip, so we feel similar about her. Now for the update. So I promised an update to my original post. I was surprised at the amount of responses I received. Thank you to everyone for your words of support and also making me feel like I wasn't a total psycho for sharing the messages with everyone. Eesh. Read through some of the comments and got a good laugh at some. One person had the balls to tell me I should treat her in kindness and show grace. I will give you credit for being willing to do it on the post, not sending a private message, because I got some pretty rude private messages. But yeah, I don't owe her any sort of kindness. On the fallout, Josh and I are obviously fine, and that was never going to be an issue. He's amazing, we communicate well, and don't have secrets. Matt came over to talk to Josh and apologized, though he has nothing to apologize for. He had a long talk with Addison about how he felt it was way out of line to tell me it should have been handled privately. He said he told his wife that Lila is an issue in their relationship as well because she always invites herself along when they are doing things or going out as a couple. She constantly complains and then always gets too drunk, so she has to spend the night. I guess he has said something in the past, but she always lets Lila steamroll her. He put his foot down and said that she needs to set boundaries with her and they need to take time apart. She agreed but expressed her fear of Lila's reaction. Well, apparently that conversation went about as bad as you'd think. She decided to do it over a phone call and Lila lost her mind. She accused me of gaslighting. I'm pretty sure she doesn't actually know what that means. Then she tried to explain what happened again, which went from it was sent to the wrong person. It wasn't even a big deal. Josh has always led her on, so she thought he wanted it. What? She was so wasted she doesn't really remember sending it and finally blaming Addison for not trying hard enough to hook them up. When she finally told Lila that they need time apart so she can focus on her marriage and work, she absolutely lost it. She told her that she can't end a long-term friendship over the phone, so she was going to come over because she owes it to her to say it to her face. She told her no, and Josh told Addison to let Lila know that she wouldn't be let in and the cops would be called. She hung up and they both blocked her number. This girl is really wicked insane. I had a talk with Addison and she apologized for trying to smooth things over because she didn't want to deal with the wrath of Lila, as she has seen her go off on other people in the past. I forgave her, but I'm going to move slowly with that friendship to see what her actions show. I do feel bad because that was obviously a toxic friendship that seems like kind of a trauma bond, but I'm not a psychiatrist. I just never want to get in the way of Josh's friendships, and I know Matt is very important to him. So she's gone, at least for now, but regardless whether her and Addison eventually reconnect, we are having nothing to do with her ever again. This all actually tightened my friendship with Sarah, who has been the long-term partner of another one of their friends, as she has been a major supporter. We always got along really well. She's come out for girls' nights with my other friends and I too. She was ready to go to war for me, haha. So that's the silver lining out of all of this. I hate drama. Honestly, it worries me that this person is shaping some young minds for a living because she is obviously not mentally or emotionally well. I love my partner more than I ever knew was possible, but somehow this just made us even more solid. I'm pretty sure we haven't heard the last from her, but she has no power over my life, so that's that. I guess the moral of all this is don't be a pushy hope bag and send unwanted photos and texts. No means no kids. Story 3. Am I the a-hole for calling my step-siblings suffocating and refusing to participate in family vacations? My dad got married to Liz 4 years ago. I, 15 male, was spending equal amounts of time with both my mom and dad, and the custody schedule was me swapping houses each week. Liz has 3 kids from her first marriage, and those kids are 10, 8, and 7 now. The kids are clingy from the day they moved in, but then in June and July of 2020, I was living there exclusively because my mom ended up in the hospital. I couldn't do anything without the kids being in my face then, and every time I asked Dad and Liz to help me stop them, they refused. And the kids just didn't listen to me saying no. My dad told me that I would never get another chance to have siblings and to embrace and nurture the relationships that I have with them. I told him this was making them feel more like burdens than siblings, and he told me I was too young to see them that way and dismissed my need for space. It was a huge relief when my mom got better and I could go to her house for breaks. By the time I was 12, I had asked my mom if she could go to court to change the custody deal so I could spend more time with her. I was 13 when it was successful. My dad was upset and Liz was kind of mad that her kids would miss me more than they did while I was at my dad's. My uncles, Dad's brother and his husband, even said how strangely clingy the kids were, and they found it weird that every time that I was with my mom, the kids would be asking when I would come home and why they couldn't see me. I wouldn't even be gone a day and they would ask that. They started that before we even knew each other a year. I spend way less time with my dad now, and I went on a vacation with him, Liz, and the kids last June, and it was miserable. My vacation was basically spending all that week with the kids and following them around and doing stuff they liked. On Christmas Eve, I spent a few hours at Dad's because the court still asked for that. So I was there, and my step-siblings were being super clingy and telling me not to go, and I should be with them at Christmas. And then they demanded they get invited to my mom's house, and Liz asked me how I could leave and miss out on a family Christmas and hurt my siblings so much. Dad told me on the drive back to Mom's that I should be taking more responsibility and taking it more seriously. I took a 3-week break from them, but the 10-year-old called me daily during those 3 weeks. Then Dad announced we were going on vacation again in May, and he was saying it was at a place that I wanted to go. I decided right then and there that I was not going to ruin a place that I always wanted to go by being smothered by my step-siblings. And I told Dad they can go, but I won't, and that I won't be going on vacation with them again. He was surprised, and he told me that I had to go, and I said I don't, and I won't. And he asked me for one good reason why, and I told him my step-siblings would ruin it by suffocating me, and that he and Liz would do nothing about it. Dad called my attitude nasty and said I should be ashamed of myself talking about them like that. Am I the a-hole? Now for some comments. Not the a-hole. Your dad and Liz are failing you and your step-siblings. There needs to be boundaries for the kids. If they had done this from the first, you might have been able to develop feelings for your step-sibs. The way that they treated you and them guaranteed you will never want to be around them at all. OP says, yep, I think there might be an actual relationship now if they had helped set things up better. Instead, I do not enjoy a single second of being near those kids, and sometimes I feel like we're the meme where I'm running from them and they're screaming, "Let me love you," as they chase me. And then this person says, not the a-hole. I get the feeling that those kids bothering you, Dad and Liz, do not have to take care of them. This behavior is so wrong. 3 young children should not be this dependent on another child, and shame on Dad and Liz for allowing this to happen and for it to continue. OP says, yeah, I've thought about that also. In their minds, it probably looks good as well, even though my uncles have said it's strange and they're not directly on the inside. But I can't imagine Liz thinking how wonderful they look if I've adored so much by her kids and we all spend so much time together. This is a form of gaslighting, and it is emotionally abusive. Rather than accepting, supporting, and loving you as you are, your dad and stepmom created an imaginary version of you. Their imaginary, not real you thinks and feels very differently from the real life you. The abuse is when they invalidate and ignore your real thoughts and feelings, insisting that your actual self is wrong and the imaginary version is what you can and should be like. Your normal needs for safety, privacy, autonomy, and comfort in their home and your relationships there are invalidated and violated. They're teaching the stepkids to view you and treat you as if you were the imaginary version is abusive as well. They are using those kids and weaponizing their disappointment when the real you isn't feeling and acting the way the imaginary you should. The frustration, the confusion, and disappointment the step feels is 100% your dad and stepmom's fault. Same as your own hurt and frustration at being constantly told you were wrong to be as you are and hurting the steps. I hope this helps you understand and articulate better what they are doing and the damage they are inflicting on all the kids. That's all for today. If you're enjoying this story, please like the video and share your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you.